Talia was the lowest of the low, an Omega, beaten, starved, too weak to even shift. When the most powerful Alpha in the realm came to marry the Pack's cruel princess, it was supposed to unite an unstable realm. Everything changed the moment Talia accidentally walked in on them. Princess Marcy's jeweled hand cracked across Talia's face, carving a ring-shaped bruise into her cheek. Talia was resigned to the abuse. An Omega, a lowly servant, an orphan she-wolf too weak to shift. Blood spilled from Talia's mouth and pooled onto the kitchen floor. "Clean it up," Marcy ordered. The princess was always cruel, but with whispers of a powerful guest's arrival, her temper burned hotter than ever. Talia scrubbed the floor, the bruises on her knees mirroring those across her body. She had no way of knowing her fate was about to change, no way of knowing that Alpha Daemon, the most powerful pack leader in the realm, would soon catch her irresistible scent. Talia lived in the shadows, beaten, starved, shoved into the attic like trash. Her days were spent scrubbing, serving, surviving. Her nights were spent curled on a moldy mattress with a tattered copy of Cinderella, the last piece of a life stolen long ago. She knew fairy tales didn't come true, not for her. Her inner wolf had gone silent years ago, snuffed out by malnutrition, abuse, and pain. Without it, she was nothing more than a human in a world of predators. Why had her inner wolf abandoned her? Was there any force on Earth, fire, war, love, that could bring it back? She woke from another day of hard labor, aching from her beating. There were whispers through the pack, electric, hushed, breathless. A visitor was coming, Alpha Daemon, leader of the Dark Howlers, fiercest pack in the realm. He was the most powerful alpha in all of North America. Women threw themselves at him, rulers feared him. He could seduce a she-wolf with a glance or tear out a man's throat just as easily. Daemon was untouchable. He scorned the idea of love, rejected every political match. Not a single potential bride, despite the many presented, could win his affection. None were worthy of being his Luna, the proud she-wolf to rule by his side. Love was a distraction, an attempt to tame him. Alpha Edward, leader of the Red Moon Pack, was desperate to secure his political power. He invited Daemon to meet his daughter, Princess Marcy, beautiful, cunning, cruel. She intended to make him hers. Talia feared their union. Would Marcy succeed where so many others had failed? Would Marcy's cruelty only intensify as Luna to such a powerful alpha? The moment Alpha Daemon stepped onto Red Moon Pack grounds with his mated betas, Caden and Maya, something felt off. His wolf stirred uneasily beneath the surface. Daemon didn't need confirmation, he already knew. No one in the Red Moon Pack could be trusted. They all sat down in the dining hall, its gaudy opulence a reflection of Red Moon's inflated ego. Marcy arrived fashionably late, every detail of her appearance sharpened like a blade. Shimmering blonde hair, a sculpted figure. She was the type of girl who got what she wanted. Her friend Nora wasn't as restrained. She eyed Daemon with hunger, her gaze sliding over him like a caress. Nora wanted a taste for herself. Marcy's mother, Luna Layla, noticed the heat in Nora's stare, and the flicker of fury in her daughter's eyes. "Marcy," Layla said too sweetly, "why don't you show Alpha Daemon to his room so you two can talk?" While the Red Moon Pack celebrated Daemon's arrival, elsewhere in the kitchens, Talia worked until the sweat stung her eyes. All she could dream of was the scraps she might scavenge when the feast was over. The other Omegas had different plans for her. Anna, their cruel ringleader, stepped into Talia's path, towering over her. "Listen up, slave." The other Omegas giggled behind her like hyenas. Anna's lips twisted into a cruel smirk. "You're going to deliver towels to Alpha Daemon's room." Talia froze. "Right now? But what if he's inside?" Anna raised her hand ready to strike. "Are you questioning me?" Talia flinched, her heart pounding. Without her wolf, she was defenseless against the bullies. Without another word, she took the towels and hurried off, every step dragging her closer to the Alpha's quarters, and whatever fate awaited her behind that door. When Talia entered the room, she froze. Daemon was in his room, but he wasn't alone. The insolence. A jolt of fear shot up Talia's spine. Retribution would be certain. Daemon's eyes snapped to Talia. "Stop," he barked. But Talia was gone, bolting from the room, too terrified to look back. What Talia didn't know, what she couldn't have known, is that in that moment Daemon's world had shifted. Her scent. It hit his veins like a spark of kindling, igniting something primal within him. Could it be? His inner wolf howled the truth within him again and again. She, a lowly Omega, a serving girl without a friend, was his fated mate. Ignoring the mocking laughter of Anna and the others, Talia ran until she reached the attic, shoving the cabinet against the door before collapsing in the corner, struggling to quiet her frantic breathing. Is this it? Is this the day I die? Back in Damon's room, Marcy landed clumsily on her backside as Damon shoved her away, his expression thunderous and unreadable. Who was that girl? He demanded, hastily buttoning his pants. Marcy knew exactly who she was. Talia, that wolfless bitch. How dare she step into an Alpha's chambers uninvited? And worse, if word got out that Marcy had been pleasuring Damon before he'd even proposed. Back in Damon's room, Marcy landed clumsily on her backside as Damon shoved her away, his expression thunderous and unreadable. Who was that girl? He demanded, hastily buttoning his pants. Marcy knew exactly who she was. Talia, that wolfless bitch. How dare she step into an Alpha's chambers uninvited? And worse, if word got out that Marcy had been pleasuring Damon before he'd even proposed. She'd be humiliated. A laughingstock. Her reputation would be in shreds. Marcy's jaw clenched with fury. She should have done more than just beat the girl this morning. But Damon didn't notice Marcy's simmering rage. He was too distracted, his mind replaying the moment when she walked in. How that intoxicating scent, freesia and citrus, had struck him. How his wolf had howled, wild and urgent. All he could think about was pulling her into his arms. Mate. His wolf howled in confirmation. He had never expected to hear that word, never wanted to, and yet, the moment Talia entered the room, something inside him had shifted, changed. His wolf growled inside him. Find her. Damon clenched his jaw. Find her, he ordered. Now. Marcy hesitated. She was confused. Why would an Alpha give a shit about a slave? Damon's Alpha energy radiated off of her, making her lower her head. Yes, Alpha Damon. But Marcy already knew. She'd be doing much more than just finding her. Meanwhile, Damon paced, running his tongue over his teeth, irritated beyond reason. His body still ached with unfinished release, but the thought of Marcy's coconut scent made him recoil. It was her. Talia. The girl with the smart doe eyes and copper-colored hair. Damon prowled through the pack house, inhaling deeply. Nothing. No trace of her scent. His wolf snarled. Find her. If she was really my mate, why did she run? Why didn't she feel it too? You had another woman on her knees in front of you, his wolf sneered. What did you expect? That she'd throw herself into your arms? Damon scowled. His instincts screamed at him to chase, but logic held him back. He needed to stay in control. If he lost control and Marcy found out the truth, there was no telling what they would do to her. For now, he would wait. Later that night, Marcy returned to Damon's chambers. She couldn't wait to tell him how she put the girl in her place, that wretched, wolfless slave. But when she saw Damon standing there, Marcy forgot all about the girl, and she would make him forget all about her too. But Damon barely acknowledged her, his mind consumed by the memory of that freesia scent. Marcy advanced. Hello, Damon. Damon swiftly turned toward the door to see Marcy peeking in. He wondered if she even knocked, but even if she did, he probably wouldn't have noticed. He never felt this distracted. What if that was an enemy? That copper-haired girl already caused him to be weak, and he didn't even acknowledge their mate bond. Why are you here? Damon asked. You look tense, Marcy said while reluctantly putting her palms on Damon's firm chest. She scurried sideways, but Damon was faster, his arm blocking her escape. What are you sorry for? He murmured, his voice low, dangerous. She stammered, refusing to meet his eye, her lip caught between her teeth. A sight that shouldn't send heat curling in his gut, but damn it, it did. He cupped her chin, tilting her face toward the light. Sparks. A wildfire licked up his arm, searing through his vein. His wolf howled, triumphant. Mate. But that momentary euphoria crashed when he saw her bruise. His grip tightened. Rage. What happened? His voice was no longer smooth. It was a blade, sharp with violence. She flinched. I fell. Lies. His thumb ghosted over the mark on her cheek. It was shaped like a ring. Marcy. His wolf roared inside him, demanding blood, demanding vengeance. Who did this? He growled. Talia shuddered. No one. A lie. A plea. A desperate attempt to protect the monster who hurt her. Damon inhaled deeply, trying to rein in the storm inside him, but her scent, the sweetness, the fragility, it wrecked him. I will not hurt you, he swore. His tone softer now, but she didn't believe him. He could see it in the way her body coiled, ready to run. Then she did. Gone. Vanished. She had run from him again. Damon couldn't believe it. Damon stood frozen for a second. Then, damn it, his wolf snarled. Find her. Damon's body moved on instinct, chasing the fading scent of freesia into the night. Damon halted in the middle of the garden, nostrils flaring as he inhaled deeply, searching for her scent. The freesia and citrus still lingered in the air, but it was interwoven with the overpowering fragrance of hydrangeas and roses, scattered wildly by the wind. Shit, he cursed, his fists clenching. I lost her. Why did she run? Maybe because you scared the soul out of her. His wolf growled. Damon frowned. I scared her? You grabbed her, cornered her, demanded answers? You think she's not used to being mistreated? And let's not forget, the first time she saw you, another she-wolf was on her knees for you, and you barked at her to stop. Hardly a warm introduction, if I may say. Damon cursed under his breath. He hadn't considered it from that angle. The girl haunted him. Her wide, fearful eyes, the bruises marring her delicate face, the way she shrank when he spoke. It made something primal inside him snap. If she's my mate, why didn't she feel it? She should have wanted to be near me, not running for her life. Maybe she doesn't know you're her mate. Is she too young? No, she's small and malnourished, but she's definitely over 18. His wolf hesitated. The problem is, I can't sense her wolf. Damon's body stiffened. She's a human? That thought made him recoil. A human? The moon goddess paired a fragile human with an alpha like him? That was insanity. No, his wolf corrected. She's a she-wolf, but for some reason, her inner wolf hasn't awakened. It could be abuse, starvation, or something darker. Maybe her wolf has been silenced. Silenced? Who would do such a thing? What reason could they possibly have to justify such cruelty? Ripping a wolf from her other half, severing the sacred bond between soul and beast. Damon couldn't imagine a fate more brutal, more inhumane. Damon raked a hand through his hair, his frustration mounting. He'd frightened her. He let her leave without food, and now she was out there, alone, vulnerable. How do I fix this? His wolf growled. Fix what? You came here to seduce Marcy, ruin Alpha Edward's plans, and leave. What changed? You want to apologize for being an ass and take her out for dinner? Damon scowled, staring at the darkened tree line in the distance. He wasn't the kind of man to coddle or chase after anyone. He told himself to forget her, to move on. But the truth was, he wasn't sure if he could. Damon stormed up the stairs, each step heavier than the last. His blood ran hot, his chest tight with frustration he couldn't shake. She ran from him, the copper-haired girl with those wide, frightened eyes and the scent that still clung to his skin. Like she wanted nothing to do with him. Fine, let her go. He threw the bedroom door open without thinking and froze. Nora was already there, draped across his bed like she belonged, wearing nothing but a wicked smirk. I figured you'd need company. Perfect. Just another mess to clean up. You're a damn fool. His wolf's voice slithered into his mind, thick with disgust. Did that make you forget her? Did she feel like our mate? Damon clenched his jaw. The moment his release faded, the hunger in his chest only grew sharper. His wolf sneered. I warned you. She's the only one who can satisfy us. Damon growled under his breath. He didn't want this to be true. He didn't want to need the girl with the copper-colored hair. And yet, he did. If he was ever going to find peace again, he needed to find her, his frail, elusive mate, the Omega who kept slipping through his fingers. The next morning, Damon contacted Caden and Maya through their mind link. Are you guys up? We are now, Caden grumbled. They had an agreement. Nights were private between him and Maya, and Damon only disturbed them if something urgent came up. Maya's voice grew alert. Did something happen? Caden, come to my room. There was a pause before Caden responded. On my way. When Caden arrived, he gave the room a once-over before raising a brow at Damon. You look like shit. Were you attacked? His gaze fell on the shredded panties discarded on the floor. Oh, never mind. Guess you had a long night. Damon wasn't in the mood for jokes. He tossed and turned the entire night, plagued by nightmares. He saw the copper-haired girl trapped in darkness, shadowy hands choking her, bruising her skin. He clawed at an invisible barrier, screaming her name. Except he didn't even know her name. How did you feel when you met Maya? Damon asked abruptly. Caden's grin faded. Why? Is Marcy your mate? Damon rolled his eyes. Just answer the damn question. Attraction, sparks, happiness. I needed Maya to be happy, so I could be happy. I thought I knew what happiness was before, but after meeting her, I realized I'd been clueless. Damon clenched his jaw. That wasn't what he felt. He felt restless, furious, out of control. Did you ever think about resisting it? Caden looked appalled. Why the hell would I? She's the best thing that ever happened to me. I waited my whole life for her. Why would I reject her? Damon's stomach twisted. What if Maya was in danger because of you? Would you pick her safety over your happiness? What if the only way to protect her was to reject her? Caden frowned. What kind of twisted scenario is that? I wouldn't be happy if she suffered. Rejection would break us both, so I'd rather face danger together. He eyed Damon sharply. What's going on? Did last night fry your brain? Damon exhaled harshly. I don't know what's going on. Caden shrugged. All right, we're still leaving after breakfast, right? Damon hesitated. Could he really leave without seeing her again? Just one more time to make sure she was okay? To confirm that the sparks weren't in his head? Let me think about it. Caden studied his alpha, his oldest friend. There was something Damon wasn't saying. He could feel it, but he didn't press. Damon would talk when he was ready, and when he did, Caden would be there. He always was. He couldn't have known Damon's mind was consumed by the copper-haired girl, his true, fated mate. Or that beneath his calm exterior, he was seething over the bruise Marcy had left on her skin. That cruel woman, his so-called betrothed, he could tear her apart if it wouldn't start a damn war, though maybe there were other ways to destroy her. Caden turned toward the door when Damon's voice stopped him. Could you look into Marcy for me? Anything we can use to discredit her, past scandals, secrets, whatever you can find. Caden nodded without hesitation. Anything, Damon. He slipped out, closing the door softly behind him. Are you thinking about rejecting her? His wolf asked. Damon sighed. I need to protect her. Then keep her close. Don't reject her. His wolf had explained that without her wolf, Talia didn't feel the bond. She wasn't drawn to him the way he was to her. To win her, he'd have to do it the human way. Court her, earn her trust. But without the bond, nothing guaranteed she would stay, and that terrified Damon the most. Damon didn't know the first thing about romance, but he knew one thing. No one could know she was his mate. If Alpha Edward learned, he'd use her against him. She'd become leverage, a hostage. Damon couldn't allow that. After breakfast, Damon met with Alpha Edward in his office. I wonder if you're aware of how your Omegas are treated, Damon said. Alpha Edward frowned. Elaborate. Do they get paid? Fed? Protected? Edward bristled. We provide accommodations 3 meals a day. They have access to the kitchen. We train them, discipline them if necessary, but no one is mistreated. Damon leaned forward. Then, why did I see one yesterday, perfectly fine, and hours later covered in bruises? Alpha Edward's jaw tightened. Disputes happen. Damon smirked. Then maybe you should have a chat with your daughter. Edward's eyes sharpened. Marcy? Aluna should protect her people, not beat them to a pulp. If my mate was ever treated like that, Damon cut himself off, clenching his fists. Edward narrowed his eyes. I'll speak with her. Damon smirked. I'm counting on it. Later, when Marcy entered Edward's study, he cut straight to the point. How is your relationship with Damon? Marcy smiled. We're getting along well. I think he plans on making me his Luna. Edward's voice darkened. Then explain why he thinks you beat Omegas half to death. Marcy paled. What were you thinking? He roared. You don't beat an Omega when an Alpha you're trying to impress is watching. Marcy swallowed hard. She had just made a very dangerous mistake. Do whatever it takes. Do you understand me? Alpha Edward's voice was razor-sharp, slicing through the thick air between them. His hand slammed against the desk, the loud crack making Marcy jump. Marcy swallowed hard, nodding fervently. Yes, Father. Don't just yes. Father me, he snapped, eyes gleaming with fury. I gave you everything. Position, power, the opportunity to become Luna of the strongest pack. And you're ruining it because of your carelessness. Do you know what happens if you fail me? If you mess this up? Marcy's breath hitched. I can fix it. I promise. Edward's jaw clenched. You'd better. Find Damon. Make him yours, by any means necessary. Marcy rushed to her room, slamming the door shut behind her. Her hands trembled as she braced herself against the vanity. That was close. And it was all her fault. That lowly mutt, Talia, a constant thorn in Marcy's side. Why would Alpha Damon of all people care so much about such a useless little Omega? It made no sense. After a deep breath, Marcy steeled herself. She wouldn't fail. She stripped off her dress, selected something more daring, plunging neckline, fabric that clung in all the right places, and touched up her makeup before making her way to find Damon. She found him outside his room speaking with his mated betas Caden and Maya. "Are you guys going out?" she asked, feigning casual interest. Caden nodded. "James offered to show us around the warrior training grounds." Marcy barely suppressed her grimace. The training grounds reeked of sweat and desperation, two things she had no interest in. Damon's eyes were cold as they landed on her. "Can I help you, Marcy?" She nearly flinched. His tone was ice. It was worse than anger. He was indifferent. He found out. The bruised little rat had reached his ears. Her father had been right. She needed to fix this, fast. She smiled sweetly. "I was hoping we could talk. Just the two of us." Damon glanced at Caden, who gave him a knowing nod before leading an eye-rolling Maya away. Once they were alone, Marcy stepped forward and, without hesitation, wrapped her arms around Damon's waist. He didn't return the embrace. Instead, his hands gripped her wrists and peeled her off him, as if she were something repugnant. "What are you doing?" "I'm sorry," Marcy said quickly. Damon arched a brow. "For what?" She hesitated. Did she mean last night? Or the Omega? Or both? "My behavior yesterday was unacceptable." Damon leaned back against the chair, his arms folding over his chest. "You came here to apologize. Do it without touching me." Marcy took a breath. "I also want to fix things." His brow lifted. "Fix what, exactly?" She clenched her hands at her sides. "Just do it. Give him what he wants. You can control him once you're Luna." "I wasn't thinking straight last night," she admitted. "I said things I didn't mean." Damon smirked. "You didn't mean what you said? About your limits?" "What you do?" Marcy's cheeks burned. I said we needed to know we were heading toward marriage first. And we are. So, I'm fine with whatever you want to do." Damon leaned forward, his smirk darkening. "Whatever I want." Marcy swallowed. "Yes, undress." She blinked. "He's serious." With slightly trembling fingers, she unbuttoned the front of her dress, letting the fabric pool around her ankles. The sting melted into pleasure, making her whimper. She arched her hips, offering more. But Damon stepped away. She turned, confused, just in time to see him buttoning his cuffs. "What?" she gasped. "What are you doing?" Damon smirked, voice dripping amusement. "Parting is such sweet sorrow." And with that, he walked to the bathroom, washed his hands as if cleansing himself of her, and left without looking back. Marcy stood there naked, humiliated. He just left. Damon used his mind link to check on Caden and Maya. "That was fast," Caden teased as Damon joined them. "Shut up," Damon replied. Maya crossed her arms. "Did you get anything we can use against Marcy?" Damon exhaled. "No." Caden and Maya exchanged a look. "She's been careful," Caden admitted. "No photos, no proof of her messing around. Just whispers." Damon's jaw tightened. "Keep digging. Someone has something." "We did find something else," Maya said, holding up a sealed envelope. Damon's eyes narrowed. "About Marcy?" "No," Caden shook his head. "Another girl from the Red Moon Pack. A servant girl with copper hair." Damon's eyes widened, his entire body stilled. He snatched the envelope from Maya's hand and tore it open. He couldn't believe his eyes. His grip tightened, voice low and urgent. "We need to find her. The copper-haired girl. Now." "You don't even know her name," Maya pointed out. Damon clenched his fists. "But I know her scent." He turned abruptly. "I'll be back in 10 minutes. Maya and Caden exchanged another look as he strode off. "What's gotten into him?" Maya asked. Caden sighed. "Hell if I know. But I think we just found his weakness." "You smell like trouble, Alpha Damon. The kind I wouldn't mind getting tangled with," Nora purred, stepping too close. Damon's gaze snapped to hers, ice cold. "Back off, Miss Nora, unless you want rumors spreading about how you sabotaged Marcy's Luna prospects to warm my bed. I doubt Alpha Edward would appreciate that." Nora's smile faltered, but she quickly masked it with a forced chuckle. She took a deliberate step back. Damon barely noticed. His mind churned, trying to piece together the mystery of the copper-haired girl who had wrecked his sanity with a single glance. If she was an Omega, she should have been in the community housing, but her scent was nowhere. If she was a prisoner, she wouldn't have had the freedom to sneak into the kitchen. Yet she was thin, too thin, and hungry, her body bruised and neglected. Why? He had searched every building, every hallway, yet she was gone. His frustration gnawed at him. Logic dictated that he should leave, forget her, erase the phantom scent of Frisia from his mind. But every time he tried, something primal inside him refused. Just once. One more time. He needed to see her, feel the electricity between them. Then, maybe he could let her go. Maybe. "There's a girl in the attic," a maid Omega had whispered. Damon moved before she finished her sentence, his heart pounding like war drums in his chest. And there it was, the scent of Frisia, faint but undeniable. His wolf howled in triumph. She was here. Silence. Still nothing. His patience snapped. Damon turned the handle, stepping inside. The attic was dark, the only light filtering through a small window, illuminating a frail figure curled in the corner. Copper-colored hair spilled over her face, but he could see her wide, honey-brown eyes locked on him. His breath hitched. He had found her. "Hi." His voice came out rough. "Get it together. You're probably wondering why I'm here." She said nothing, shrinking further into herself, a reaction that sliced through him like a blade. "I won't hurt you," he promised. "Not like them, never like them." Still, she flinched when he stepped closer. Then he saw it, the bruises, fresh ones layered over the old, and when she shifted, her sleeve hitched, revealing a swollen wrist. "Marcy." A savage growl rumbled deep in his chest. "She hit you again, didn't she?" Panic flickered across her face. "Please don't say anything." "If you do, she'll hurt me more." His wolf roared in fury. "She fears more punishment because of me." Damon clenched his fists, barely restraining the need to storm out and rip Marcy apart, but the girl in front of him, his mate, was trembling. He forced his anger down. He did the only thing that made sense in that moment. He sat down beside her and wrapped her in his arms. She froze, then squirmed. "Shh," he murmured. "Just for a minute." A minute? A lifetime wouldn't be enough. Talia was rigid at first, but then she stilled. A reluctant surrender. Damon exhaled, his lips ghosting over the crown of her head. She smelled intoxicating, and he let himself indulge, fingers threading through her silky copper hair, reveling in the way the touch sent sparks cascading through him. His wolf whimpered in bliss. "Hey." Her voice was hesitant, barely above a whisper. "When are you going to let me go?" Damon smirked against her hair. "First of all, my name is Damon, not Hay. And second," his arms tightened around her, "I'm thinking about it." Damon couldn't ignore it any longer. The scent of dried blood mixed with Frisia, a contradiction that enraged him. He grasped her wrist, inspecting the cut. His wolf growled at the sight of her battered skin. Without thinking, he brought it to his lips and licked. Talia jerked, trying to yank her hand away. "What are you doing?" "Healing you," he murmured. "Our saliva has medicinal properties. You should be thanking me." She gaped at him. "It's bitter," he said, confused. Damon frowned. "Why?" "I made a herbal paste. To stop infection." Her voice was soft, just above a whisper. His gaze flickered to her again. "You made a remedy yourself?" She nodded. Something in his chest twisted. She was alone. No pack to care for her. No one to tend to her wounds. It was unacceptable. His grip tightened. "Come with me." She blinked. "What? To my pack? To the Dark Howlers?" Talia stiffened. "Why?" Damon inhaled sharply. He couldn't tell her the truth, not yet, that she was his mate, that he'd burned the world down before letting her go. Instead, he softened his voice. "Because I'll give you what you deserve. A home, a room of your own, clothes that fit, food whenever you want, a doctor for every scratch. No one will ever lay a hand on you again, and if they do, I'll deal with them myself." His wolf let out a low, possessive growl. Talia stared at him as if he'd lost his mind. And maybe he had. "Why do you want to help me?" she whispered. Because you're mine," he thought. But instead, he pulled the envelope from his coat and tossed it onto the bed between them. "Because I know why your wolf won't awaken. I know what they did to you, and I know why they did it." Talia looked up from the envelope to Damon, her eyes wide with shock. The ground had just shifted beneath her, and he was the only one who knew why. What dark secrets lie buried inside the envelope? Why has Talia's wolf remained unawakened all these years? Has her wolf been silenced? Who would do such a thing? And who or what has gone to such lengths to keep the truth hidden? Could this be the key to finally awakening Talia's wolf? Or awakening something far more dangerous?
To find out what happens next, listen to every thrilling episode of The Alpha's Bride, available only on the Pocket FM app. Download it for free now